بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum to all of our viewers and welcome back to Perspectives, a program that we have dedicated to look at different perspectives which exist within Islam and different phenomena that are there, and what are the different perspectives in regards to the phenomena from the perspective of the Quran, from the perspective of the intellect, from the perspective of the philosophy. We are dealing with a topic and we started this topic tonight, and we are trying to understand in the light of Quran and Sunnah the phenomena of aql, what is really intellect. The tradition of the Prophet, that's what we said, that the role of the intellect in chastisement and also in reward. A group of people came to the Prophet and then they say that, you know what, Prophet, we have met a man, he's doing so much of ibadat, he's amazing, he fasts and he prays. And Prophet stopped them, and Prophet said that, okay, calm down. Will you tell me that how is his aql, how is his intellect? They said to the Prophet that, oh Prophet, we are telling you about his endures, how great he is, how he, how much he worship at night, so on and so forth, and you are asking us in regards to aql. Then the Prophet replied that verily the stupid person suffers as a result of his stupidity. He might be practicing, but in terms of his aql, he's less, and he's going to suffer. And at the same time, he says that وَإِنَّمَا يَرْتَفِعُ الْإِبَادِ غَدًا فِي دَرَجَاتٍ وَيَنَالُونَ زُلْفَ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ عَلَى قَدْرِ عُقُولِهِمْ. The darajat will be raised of these servants in the hereafter and will receive great proximity. Why they are having the great proximity to their Lord? It is because of their intellect, because in the proportion of their intellects. So it is the aql actually which brings us closer to God. So it is quite important, but unfortunately we tend to see that our community, our society is so less in terms of the intellectual capacity. Either they blindly follow, or they just take by the word of the mouth. They don't deduce, they don't investigate, they don't challenge. It is quite important to challenge. Ayatollah Hasanzadeh Amali, one of the greatest Ayatollah, Hafazahullah, may Allah protect him and prolong his life for us. He is known as one of the greatest polymath. Today there are only few who've been given the title of Allama. Allama is not a joke. Allama means that someone who is a polymath, someone who is expert in philosophy, someone who is expert in theology, someone who is expert in jurisprudence, someone who is expert in exegesis, someone who is expert in history, someone who is expert in mysticism, someone who is expert in Arabic literature, someone who is expert in astronomy, someone who is expert in ulum gharibe, someone who is expert in mathematics. That is an allama. Allama is not for every Tom, Dick and Harry, not for Amr Bakr Zaid, as they say, that they put Allama. Allama is someone who is a polymath, right? So Allama Hasanzadeh Amali, Hafazahullah, he says that I have intellectually challenged all my beliefs. I have renounced them, and then I have accepted all my ideology and my belief system and whatever I do on the basis of my aql. That is aql. So we have to promote in our community critical approach, investigation, amazingly, pointing out to the amazingly pointing out to the intellectual reality of things. Take that out and point those things out. That is the task of the scholars as well. And if they do that, we should really challenge them. We should really ask them. Now here it says in another Imam Hassan alayhi salam, bil aqli tudrakul daran jamian wa man hurima min al aql hurimuhuma jami'an. Imam Hassan alayhi salam says, both the abodes, daran, the world and the hereafter, are grasped by the intellect, and whoever is deprived of the intellect is deprived of them both. So the world is understood by aql. Whoever is an intellectual is successful. Not only in this dunya, but also in the hereafter as well. Yeah. Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam says that when Allah created the aql, He said to it, come forward. So it came forward, and then commanded it to go back. It went back, right? Then He said to it, by my honor and exaltedness, I have not created anything better than you. So when God created the aql, that's what He did, and he praised Himself. He said the best thing that He has created is the aql. Imam Kazim alayhi salam, man arad al ghina bila malin wa rahat al qalb min al hasad was salamata fid din. A person who wants arad al ghina, wants to be rich, wants to have wealth without mal, wa rahat al qalb min al hasad, and comfort of the heart from the jealousy. See, you have aql and heart. We were doing last week, these two things. We talked about these two things, the aql and the heart. So a person, jealousy is the heart. But how can this jealousy be rahat? It's the aql. The aql will come and deduct and rectify and cure the hasad of a person. Example, I have someone who is much senior, better, or junior, or whatever. He is doing very good. His profession, or he has a shop, he's always customer, everything full. He is making a lot of profit. Hasad. Jealousy comes to the heart. Why he? Why not me? Why she? Why not me? Jealousy comes to the heart. But the aql will say that, excuse me, this customers, this knowledge, this respect, this honor, this dignity that the person have or she has, is it because of there is something of his own, or it is really Allah who is providing that, right? That's the aql says. It is the Allah who is giving us that sort of knowledge, that sort of maqam, or that mal, or that dignity and that honor. It is Allah is the one who al-izzatu lillahi wa lirrasuli wa lilmu'minin. The honor, dignity, it belongs to God, as in reality it is God who gives that. So now my heart should not be jealous of others, but rather I should be saying, Allah, give me what you have given them. The aql will come and rectify that. And security in his faith, and it's also considered as was salamata fi deen, that sort of security, that salama, that peace, that perfection in deen, in his faith, should implore Allah and mighty, exalted, in his plea for him to perfect his intellect. Then he should ask that Allah make aqluhu, make my aql perfect. We should dua, This is the dua that we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that, oh Allah, make my aql perfect. Give us aql and make that perfect. In another beautiful hadith, in the section of the chastisement and the reward, Imam Baqir says that, alayhi salam, I found written in the book ascribed to Imam Ali alayhi salam that the worth and value of every man is his knowledge. Right? As they say that qimata kulli amrin wa qadrahu ma'rifatu. Inshallah, as we said, after we finish the series of intellect, we'll look into ma'rifat. We'll look into knowledge and the reality of knowledge, the importance of knowledge, how a knowledgeable person should be, what is the signs of a scholar who is a knowledgeable, so on and so forth, right? So here the qima, the value of everything is in his knowledge. So here it says, Inna Allah tabarak wa ta'ala yuhasibun nas ala qadri ma atahum minal uqule fi dar dunya. And on the basis of the aql, people will be tested, people will be rewarded. So the aql becomes the criteria of reward and punishment. The more the intellectual the person is, perhaps the more the reward for him, right? So aql becomes that criteria. Now, what is really aql? What is the reality of this aql? We talked about aql itself, the value of intellect, how aql is important. There is no affliction worse than the lack of intellect. As we said, the Prophet says the basis of man is his intellect. Deen, intellect, right? Putting things in the right matter is intellect. Making oneself higher in the levels and darajat, it is through intellect. The best thing God created is intellect. We looked at the value of intellect. Then we pointed out to the role of the intellect in regards to the azab, in regards to the punishment, in regards to the reward that a person would receive. Both the worlds. Al-Imam Hasan alayhi salam, he says that bil aql tudraku daran jamian wa man hurima min al-aql hurimaha jamian. So, he will be prohibited, he will be deprived, he will not be able to do anything if he doesn't have intellect in daran, in both the different worlds. So now look at the authoritative nature of the aql. This aql is considered as authority. That's what the hadith I mentioned from Imam Kazim alayhi salam. The hujjiyat of aql. If the aql says something, this is it, it becomes hujjat. It is something that one really have to act upon. It becomes wajib. As they say, there are two hujjat. One hujjat is aqli, one hujjat is zahiri. Now this hujjat is zahiri, we cannot find anything. Then you have the hujjat aqli, which one have to really accept. Imam Kazim alayhi salam, in the wasiyat of his to Hisham ibn Hakam, says, ما بعث الله أنبياء ورسوله إلى عباده إلا ليعقلوا عن الله فأحسنهم استجابة أحسنهم معرفة وآمالهم بأمر الله أحسنهم عقلا أكملهم عقلا أرفعهم درجات في الدنيا والآخرة, which means that ما بعث الله أنبياء ورسوله إلى عباده, God have not mab'us, not sent the prophets, the messengers, towards God in order that they may come to an understanding of Allah. The purpose is that understanding. The prophets have been sent in order that the community comes to an understanding. So it is important that one makes the community have the marifat, have the understanding, right? That is the purpose of it. That is the purpose of it. So the ones who best heed their call are those who have the best inner knowledge, right? The best of them are the one who have that inner knowledge, and the ones who know Allah's command the best are those who have the best intellect. Those who have the best intellect, then they will be able to know the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala well. And then the hadith says that, and those that have the most perfect intellect, they are darajat, right? Most those of the perfect intellects will be the ones with the highest status in this world and in the hereafter. This is that's how important aql is, brothers and sisters. It is important to promote intellectual debate, intellectual understanding to our children, to our community, that there should be an awakening. And we are so proud of this intellectual phenomena that exists in our school of thought. There is no blindly following. We follow the aql. Even if be so that the imam of a masjid, that the mullah of a masjid, that the marja, that the leadership, if it says something against intellectual understanding of the truth, one should really question that. One should not really blindly follow. That's how much one should really pay attention to the intellect. Tafsirul aql. Now let's look at tafsir of aql, and let this be the last topic to cover, and inshallah we'll look at some of the other issues in relation to intellect. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Innal aqla iqalun min al jahl. Remember, I told you about the iqal when we started the program. I think this will be a good way of ending the program as well. You know, iqal, right? Verily, the intellect is a lasso used to refrain ignorance. One nafsa mithlul khabath dawab. And you know, and the carnal soul is like a vilest of beast, which if left unrestrained will go wild. فَإِن لَمْ تُعْقَلْ هَارَتْ. So the nafs, the soul, is like a wild beast, and the verily aql is intellect is like a lasso used to refrain the ignorance. It's like the iqal, that protector, right? The intellect is the light that Allah has created. Al-aqlu nurun khalquhu Allah lil insan wa ja'alahu yud'iyu ala al-qalb. So aql is considered as the light for mankind, and which He has ordained to illuminate the heart. See the relationship of heart and aql. So we did first in our previous series of program in perspectives, we talked about heart. What is heart, right? Now we are talking about what is aql, because there is a relationship of the heart and the aql. And we said aql is like that light to the heart. Aql is like that ruh. You know, it's sublime, it is pure, it gives that direction to the heart, right? It gives that direction to the heart. Now the aql needs to have that knowledge, that marifat, that the heart gets that direction, that there is heart in the things that we are doing. So it is that light, that illumination, order that with it he may know the difference between the visually manifest things and the unseen. Now what this will do? لِيَعْرِفُوا بِهِ الْفَرْقَ بَيْنَ الْمُشَاهِدَاتِ مِنَ الْمُغَيَّبَاتِ. Those things which are ghaib, he understands through the aql. As the Quran, as the hadith of the Prophet and Masumin also have said that, Masum have said that the Quran have batn, inner meanings, 70 inner meanings, and these could be understood gradually. Obviously, it's that ulil albab. It is through the aql of which will be able to understand the inner meaning of al aqlu an taqula ma ta'rifu wa ta'amala bima tantiqu bih. To be a man of intellect is that you say only that which you know and act upon what you say. So aqil is someone who acts and who knows what he is saying. He has full knowledge of. This is the tafsir of aql. We are looking at the tafsir, the explanation of what aql is. In another hadith, al aql aqlan, aqlu tab wa aqlu tajruba wa kilahuma yuaddi al munfa'ata manafe. It is faidain. There are two divisions of intellect: the natural intellect and the intellect of tajruba, of experience, and both of them produce benefit. So through tajruba, through experience, one become aqil. One faces trials and tributes, then one gains that intellect. So if somebody makes a mistake, right, now he get this experience from it, and he will never do that. It becomes like masoom. It becomes like masoom, right? That's how powerful the aql is. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam says, when asked about the intellect, the suppress one's annoyance until the opportunity arises. In another hadith, because we are running out of time, one last hadith, when his father asked him regarding the intellect, said, it is for the heart to safeguard what you have deposited therein, right? So anil aql hifzu qalbik, so it is the safeguarding. It is for the heart to safeguard what you have deposited therein. I think we'll stop here and we'll continue inshallah in our next program on the same very topic of aql, and then gradually we'll look at the marifat and knowledge, which kind of the aql and the heart is really that seat. Thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you a good night, and we hope to see you next week again. Mail us your questions or comments to Hidayat, and see you next week. Goodbye from Hidayat. Good night from Hidayat. Good